homeopathy, and I retired 2014, and I'm practicing, teaching, making seminar, webinar to promote homeopathy and make a good friend like you people. Now, I request to all of your friends that you do one thing when I finish my lecture. If you have got any query, question, you put on the screen, I will reply you. Okay?
I think that's an excellent idea. I hope everyone understood that, and good evening to you all, and thanks for so much for coming. We're already delighted to have Dr. Khan here with us. I'm just struggling to find everybody on my screen. I can only see 5 of you, but I know there are more of you here. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to find out whether that's my computer that's the problem or what it is. But never mind.
Okay.
If you're all here, I'm happy. Dr. Khan has expressed an interest in meeting all of you before we begin.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so if you'd like to stop sharing for 1 second, Dr. Khan, you'll be able to see all of us on the screen, I hope.
Yeah, we are 11 of us.
Yeah, I can only see 6. I don't know why that is.
Is there an arrow to the right of the...
Can you see everybody? Mahesh?
Yes,
Oh,
but
you can.
That's good.
most of the others have not opened the video, so that's
Okay.
why.
Well, Mahesh is speaking, Dr. Khan, and Mahesh is one of our medical doctors here in the UK. I don't know if you've met before, the two of you.
No, I haven't. I originally come from Kerala in India.
Hello.
Dr. Khan.
Okay.
So I suggest that we begin. We take this opportunity to learn from Dr. Khan's years of experience. We're very grateful to him for staying up until nearly midnight his time to speak with us. And I'll hand over to you now. And any questions, just put them in the chat box or save them for later, and we will have time to come to them at the end.
Right. Now, let us start our topic. I choose for you that art of prescribing. Nowadays, we need more practical application of homeopathy in the bedside. This is the main need for propagate homeopathy, to develop homeopathy. We increase our friend with art of the prescribing, so we can save suffering humanity, suffering peoples. That will help us to more popularize homeopathy. That's why I choose this one. Next one, I'm going to say about a map road of art of prescribing. This map road, I can say, this map of or map road of the prescribing, the first thing which I like to share, which I like to start from organon. I'm not going to say many aphorisms of the organon, rather I like to discuss few aphorisms which should be a very practical one in the use of homeopathic practice. The first I like to share with you aphorism 6. My humble request to you and your friend, whenever I am going to discuss with you, you please bring the organ and bring the Ellen's keynote and bring the Nash. Some more book which I refer here, like I give you the reference of Carl Jung, one of the best and close friend to Freud, one of the more important and most important physicists from the United Kingdom. Who is very much impressed to me, and his language and his understanding helpful to me to explain homeopathy more on the basis of the physics. That was a David Bohm. I will show the form. This gentleman is too much impressed me. Another very common writer is Christoph Capra. Christoph Capra is especially the Tao of the physics is very impressed to me, and many of the references I prefer to say about quote from the Christoph Capra. Carl Jung, another man who very much impressed me to understand homeopathy. And there are many more people. Simply, first like to start aphorism 6. See aphorism 6. And you will find in the last word, aphorism 6, last word, and the first word, unprejudiced observer. And the last word is portrait of the disease. Clear? फिर रखो ना अपने पास, हम मांगेंगे कोई चीजें ना. Now, you know that as I told you earlier, and you quote me also, if you learn homeopathy, the most important factor to perceive the interconnectedness or interrelatedness. This aphorism 6 is a unique symptom aphorism where Honeyman explain about the blueprint of the case taking in a very short form. I am not going to fully explain aphorism 6. A simple part of the aphorism 6 is portrait of the disease. This portrait is an outcome of understanding, a mutual understanding between physician and the physician and the patient and the patient's relatives. Three factors. Altogether is going to be make portrait of the disease. Right? Now, just you see, after 6, if there is a 7 aphorism. Aphorism 7 is start with now. You see the now means it is very clearly demonstrated by Hahnemann, the portrait of the disease is not enough for the prescribing. Something more advanced, which Hahnemann discussed in aphorism 7. Now means this is incomplete previous, and we are going to interconnected or interdependent on the aphorism 7 regarding totality of the symptoms. Now see here, now as in disease from which no manifest exciting maintaining causes or causa occasionalis. Your portrait of the disease is going to be complete according to aphorism 6. But this is not. Hahnemann say, you should note there is a no manifestation of exciting cause, maintaining cause, under bracket causa occasionalis. All these three factors should be removed from your totality. Is a part of portrait of the disease, but not the part of the totality of the symptom. This should I like to make as a student of Organon, to make it very clear that the art of prescribing need removal of many symptoms, not inclusion. Present day, we are falsely try to include all symptoms in our totality. No, my friend. Totality is simple, a very cream. If the whole milk is portrait, the cream is the totality of the symptom. So for making cream, we have to remove many things. That Hahnemann in first line say, which no manifest. If your totality of the symptom is going to be included with the symptom due to exciting cause, maintaining cause, or causa occasionalis, your totality is incomplete, blunder. Your totality is blurred, not visualized, not crystallized. So that's why I choose the art. Nowadays, due to the overuse of and full dependent on the repertory, we lost the beauty and art of prescribing. Because in totality, we include like portrait of the disease, all things together, no minus. So you always care those symptoms which is going to be creeping, developing due to the exciting and maintaining cause, that should not be included in your totality of the symptom. If you have got any confusion, you note it. After my 1 hour of discussion, I like to make 1 more 1 hour with the question. Okay? Now if it is the fact that we are going to be considered totality is cipher from most exciting and maintaining cause symptom. Those symptoms due to maintaining cause or exciting cause, if you remove the maintenance, symptom is going out. If you're going to be remove the exciting factor, symptom is going to be removed, no question of prescribing medicine. That is the art. There are lots of things which we are going to remove by simple prescribing placebo. No medicine at all. So if you go through the Organon, there are more than 7 places where Hahnemann requested, don't prescribe medicine. That is art. This art we will find in the writings of Hippocrates and Paracelsus. If the symptom, suppose I am saying symptom of due to the cooler or air condition, I am starting sneezing. If you stop the cooler or AC, aircon, symptom is going to be vanish. This is purely due to the exciting and maintaining cause. No need of the prescribing. Homeopathy is so simple, so natural, that we cannot consider anything that is worse for the prescribing. The art of prescribing required purity, perfection. So this is humble request to all of you, my friend. You take care of your practice with the help of this organon.
7 places.
Right?
7 places, no medicine.
Actually. Now, I will discuss you later on where Hahnemann in 7 places does not require any medicine and insists don't prescribe medicine. If you prescribe, you are not practicing homeopathic system of medicine. If you consider them, your prescribing is not artistic. That's why I tell you that read organon seriously. If you read seriously organon, you never misguide. Because the organon, you know that what is the name of the organon, the book organon? Organon full name is Organon, the Art of Healing. There are 2 names, one up to the only first edition, and then after 2nd edition onward, Hahnemann changed and came to conclusion of Organon, the Art of Healing. Organon, not art of the cure. Organon, art of healing. Why? Organon, you know that is a word came from the Greek. Hahnemann is borrowed from the Greek literature, means the instrument, the effective instrument, the perfect instrument, the art of healing. It is this instrument used for the art. Arts, in short, utilization. Art, in short, very practical of healing. Healing is a word which came from, in Old English, whole. So you should keep always in your mind that our healing should be holistically, not for the part. Simple patient as a whole is going to be involved and is going to be cured holistically. And that's why the lots of things which we are doing is not in favor of the organon. That's why a teacher and as a student of organon, I mostly consider without organon is very, very difficult to remove yourself in the rational healing. So your instrument means you are going to practice by instrument, that is organon, should be utilization, not speaking, not verbal discussion. Utilization, use in the practice, use in the bedside. to making patient holistically better, not part. The book title page of the book itself declare by the author that this is the instrument, a book, this is the instrument for making practical utilization to making healthy people holistically. This should be always in our mind when we are going to discussing or practicing homeopathy or popularizing homeopathy. Now, my friend, I am going to discuss one more thing. In 3 places, Hahnemann say about the portrait of the disease in. One is aphorism 6. Number 2, aphorism 96 footnote. And number 3 is aphorism 175, 3 places. These 3 places itself say that portrait is important, but not so than the totality of the symptom. And Hahnemann say about totality 29 places in the organ. Different places. Sometime I have good discussion with you. So one by one I'll explain you importance of totality in 29 places, around 29. Now, we reached to one point that our profession is simply demand that we choose patient and interaction with patients and physician in the different level, in the different places, and came to a conclusion of the portrait of the disease, aphorism 6. Now, Hahnemann says in 7, remove all the symptom due to exciting cause and maintaining cause. The remaining part, the cream part, is the totality for prescribing. Now, I come to the art of this prescribing, the 153 aphorism. Just look at 153. In 153, you mark one more thing I'd like to share with you, that italic letter is always more important, more significant than the normal letter. So just see, Hahnemann say about one factor. Here I like to refer you the Brinda Orelli, the translation of the book of the organon. It is also helpful you to make more understanding of organon by the Brinda. There are something, that everything in homeopathy should be an outcome of the practice. Practical application. There is a least chance of adding theory in homeopathy. It's more practical, useful, in the bedside, not in the chair, not in the air-conditioned room to making magnification in the mind. No. Homeopathy is love to enjoy in the bedside with the suffering, sick, suffering humanity. Now come back to the 4 factors. The first is most striking. Anything in the totality you include, anything should be most striking. I will just give you one example of more striking. The German means offline, means falling up you. Anything which is going to be fall on you, you have to notice. So the symptom is going to be fall on you. It is always going to be most striking. So during case perceiving, intercourse between the physician and the patients, if the symptom, those who are very important, is going to fall upon you, that symptom should be considered for your prescribing or including in the totality of the symptom. Problem, you know that you people are may know you about the philosophy of Kant. You read Kant also, especially philosophy. But I am saying very simple. That is 153 where Hahnemann based his prescribing. Is not going to be appreciated, not going to be making more feelings and explanation in the writing of the philosophy of Kant. Can include a new type of evaluation of symptom. Yes, mental, physical, general, etc., etc. Hahnemann give the most important is most striking one. Symptom which is going to be fall on you and make you to become like that. That is a striking symptom. Suppose I will give you one example of it striking. During the discussion and course of interrogation or case perceiving, sometime you know that if you ask about the wife, how you are feeling about the husband's behavior, she took first look the husband, and when turning moved to your view, just like this is striking. You have to notice. Means husband is not going to satisfactory to her. The most striking, that means the wife is not going to be very happy with the husband. You note it. And during conversation, you will find the patient has got, the woman has got. When you're talking with you, never talk very loudly. But whispering, doctor, I'm very ill. I'm not giving you the most painful condition of my pain. I am suffering a lot. This is the whispering voice. I'm not very sick. I'm sick. This is loud one. We should never find in a case of those who are going to be prescribed for ignitia amara. So whispering sound with this angle of expression, practical expression by the body language about the feelings of the husband is a grief. Practical application of the grief means most striking. And then you will find the patient has got, during that conversation, again you ask that, do you have got any problem in your family life? You say, no, no doctor. This painful body language is going to express by the sighing. Whenever you ask about the personal life, she is going to be expressed. Then express. And then sometime you will find whenever you ask about the domestic relations, she is going to be yawn. Cannot smoke speaking. Cannot tolerate smoking. And when you touch the knee is very hot and nose is cold. The whole syndrome is going to be considered as a totality of symptom which has got no relation with a particular disease, rather is related to the patient as a person holistically. This is the beauty of considering art of prescribing. We have got lots of explanation that is singular, exceptional. I will give you one example of exceptional. That I remember in my very early days practice. Are you listening me or not? Clearly, pronunciation. Okay,
Is
thank you.
everybody understanding okay?
Thank you, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So when in my very early stage of prescribing, when I'm practicing, one day a young gentleman came to me for the treatment of their heart diseases. You know that I don't know about, I have got some experience of European country. I visited. People are not going to saying full faith on homeopathy. Just diseases like heart, hypertension, this, that, many things. But in India, and especially in Calcutta, that gentleman came to me for the treatment of, I have gone through the whole case. Diagnosis in favor of mitral stenosis, a very grave disease. According to the pathology, according to the diagnosis. But this gentleman have got no capacity to operate for repairing of mitral stenosis, mitral valve. Okay. Then he tried to take homeopathic medicine due to his poverty and always faith. I have gone through the case. You know that my case is taking, I am starting from head to foot, present complaint. And especially, you know, I am considering symptom for prescribing that is most striking, unfolding on you. You are not going to remove it. They are going to be just I don't know, I see a film that is Spider-Man. This mask is going to be just stick on the face. Similarly, the most striking symptom is going to be stick in your whole mind. Whatever maybe you is scratching, the symptom is not going to outside for mind. That symptom is prescribing symptom. So in this case, when I am go through the case, I mostly consider on the basis of art is symptom away from the disease. Symptom away from the disease is the most important for homeopathic prescribing. In this case, I found there is a one dream. And the dream was, he have got constant dreaming. You know, if you go through the study of mitral stenosis, the pathology, or maybe from practice of medicine, you did not find the patient has got any dreaming. Practice of medicine and modern medicine is never considered for this symptom. Those symptoms, when the allopathic physician not consider, we homeopathic physician humbly consider for our totality of the symptom. So be careful about those symptoms, those who are according to 153, most striking, singular, uncommon, peculiar. These 4 types of the symptom, 4 group of the symptom, 4 quality of the symptom is going to be characteristic. Hahnemann called, you see 153, aphorism C, there is a under bracket, is a characteristic. Means these are important to individualize the physician. What is important for homeopathic physician? To individualization. Individualize first. Now come back to what I would like to explain you about the singular. You know that I am giving much more importance from the repertory point of view, being a student of the repertory, and once I was the teacher and head of the department of the repertory in National Institute of Homeopathy. Most practical one is the Kent. In Kent, there is a one symptom. Whenever you have got in Kent one single symptom, in rubric one single symptom, that single symptom is very important for prescribing point of view, and that single symptom is called singular symptom, exceptional. When I go through the repertory, Kent repertory, in the chapter of dream, there is a one dream. The patient has got roaming in the field. Roaming in the field, constant roaming in the field. This was the very striking dream of this gentleman, those who are suffering from mitral stenosis. Why this gentleman is going to be taking this dream? There is some factor. That factor, Hahnemann and homeopathic post-Hahnemannian peoples are going to be searching. The symptom which is not related to the pathology, the symptom which is not related to the diagnosis of the disease. No question of diagnosis. Diagnosis for the management. For prescribing, we search most striking, singular, uncommon and peculiar symptom. So this singular means one single remedy. You just see, go through the Kent, roaming in the field. One bold letter, Rostov's. One single, that is enough. And if apart from that, there is a very big letter, black bold letter, that's been a highly characteristic symptom you can consider for totality of the symptom. So in this case, when I like to prescribe anything and depend on that symptom, I am going to making confirmation and reconfirmation repeatedly. That's called is persistent. A long-lasting symptom, a bothering symptom. The patient is going to be too much I can say that a feeling of uneasiness due to this dream. Not much regarding the mitral stenosis. So why a mitral stenosis patient is going to be constantly watching in the dream the roaming of the field, roaming of the field, roaming of the field. And that is annoying for him. According to homeopathic philosophy and especially art of prescribing, I consider the inverse is singular symptom found in Rustux and found in mitral stenosis patient. Son, when you will find the Rustux in the proving, because you know that those people who wrote repertory or materia medica should be a busy practitioner, should be a constant relation with the patient, constant relation, constant interaction. And that constant interaction give the fruitful result for prescribing. Can do. This was the Kent achievement to consider, because he was a big practice, huge practice. He has a constant relations, interactions between the patient and himself. In proving, he reading seriously, especially the proving of master hearing guiding symptom. So that's why, as a homeopathic physician,
उसमें पूछ रहा है कि मतलब कि एक बार वो आने से ड्रीम आने से कंसीडर करेंगे या बार बार वो ड्रीम एक सेकंड.
Sir, one thing I am saying this singular, exceptional, not once. I am saying bothering, annoying symptom, a constant symptom, every night, every dream, that make is more troublesome than the mitral stenosis. That's make me, this is a most striking as well as a singular. And singular means found in the patient, singular patient, and found in the proving, in the single prover. And practice shows it's become a bold letter in the black letter in the repertory. So, study of the repertory according to the intensity of the symptom should be very important. One. Number two, this constant bothering, annoying symptom is more to be considered, included in the totality. I will give you one example. It is my practical life. That any
कनेक्शन कट गया उन लोगों का कनेक्शन कट गया.
Is everybody... here he is again. Thank you.
okay,
एक सेकंड.
due to some Wi-Fi disturbance. Now I would like to say you about this bothering symptom. Bothering is always constant. Bothering is always constant and recurrent, making your mind and body disturbed. If the symptom is going to disturb you, is going to be stick with you, why not that symptom should be stick in your totality? Follow me or not? A symptom which is going to be constant feature of the patient, then this symptom should be included in totality. If it is found in the patient, you should be found in the medicine. That is the beauty of combination, of consideration of the totality of the symptom. You know that since my early stage of homeopathy, now present day, that people, we are talking about too much totality, but clarity of the totality is not going to be explained. I was much confused, much disturbed. Every teacher is going to speak of the totality. So where is the totality? How we can reach to the totality? That's why today I make the road plan of art of prescribing. This map, among the most important area is the patient's symptom should be found in the patient, should be equally found in the medicine also. Equally, not just noted. Symptom found in this level in the medicine, symptom found in this level in the patient, not totality. Symptom found in the patient, symptom found in the remedy equally, with full intensity. That should be considered, included in our totality of the symptom. I am making myself clear to you? That's good. So I give the example, a beautiful example of Ignatia Amara, the prescribing with the annoying features of the woman having deep grief with the relations and the behavior of the husband, with the characteristic symptom which I consider the patient is speaking whisper, not loudly. That is not my Ignatia, not the Ignatia of Hahnemann. With the involuntary sigh, why? And yawning. Cannot stand smoking. One more thing I like to share with the Ignatia, that Ignatia patient was very audacious, bold. Not logical mind, emotional mind. Without any consequences, they are going to be use their whims, idea and suggestion. That's why the Ignatia patient mostly in future going to be disappointment. This is a striking feature which I found during the conversation of the case study. Second case which I discussed about the importance of singular. Singular, the patient found in pathology a very annoying symptom, the roaming of the field. And found in the Kent repertory in the black bold letter, one single remedy, singular. Here singular in mitral stenosis, where in the proving rustux. That means this is the beautiful combination of equal strength found in the patient as well as equally found in the drug proven or Kent repertory. That should be considered as one of the singular symptom for consideration of the totality of the symptom. I will give you one more example about uncommon. Okay? Uncommon means not common. Not common where the question of the everything is common. Here your knowledge of practice of medicine, your knowledge of physiology, your knowledge of pathology is going to be helpful to you. I will give you one example. A very high rise of the temperature. Very high rise temperature. Body need water. This is the physiology. But the peculiarity, individualizing factor and uncommon factor of 153 found in this patient is thirst. high rise temperature, but patient is thirsty. This is uncommon factor. So whenever any pathology and practice of medicine knowledge is going to be uncommon, not common to the patient, that should be considered for prescribing, including in your totality of the symptom. Now, I come back to the roadmap for consideration of the art of prescribing, and where is the differentiation for the selection of the repertory and the selection of the totality of the symptom. Here I will give you the peculiar, I will give you some other time explain you. Simple peculiar means is the individual, which is found in your features and your family. Sometimes there is a lots of things which is common to your family and with you. That symptom should be odd or peculiar as a personality factor. Oh, forget it. Now come back to, I will give you one more important reference.
Excellent.
Now see, the Nash leader. You know that in our profession, as Kent was so much popular, Nash was not less than popular. Is equally more popular in some area. So it is my request to all of you, to please read Nash leaders and articles of the Nash. That will help you a lot. I will quote you here. You just go to the Nash leader. The first medicine is Nux vomica. And this first Nux vomica medicine, the last paragraph, the last page and the last paragraph. Okay? You see it. Open the Nash. I will show you. And he considered for prescribing. This is one. In actual practice, there are two kinds of the cases that come to the physician. Two kinds of cases. One is the case that may be prescribed for with certainty of success. But note it, this is the words of Nash, E.B. Nash. There are two groups of the cases, mostly practically found in our daily practice life. Among them, if you like to prescribe certainty of success, you have to get success on the symptoms that are style, characteristic and peculiar. Aphorism 153. This 153, according to many physicians, among them Nash, is a symptom considered for prescribing should be on the basis of 153 aphorism and should be the characteristic and peculiar. And you know that characteristic, I will show, I will just see, characteristic is mostly most striking, singular, uncommon and peculiar. These are the characteristic. See in your organ under bracket characteristic. Now, for certainty in prescribing, for success, it is clear that 153 is the only and important aphorism where you successfully prescribe medicine. That means, the aphorism, most important aphorism for homeopathic prescribing. And the other is where all the symptom, there are no such symptom appearing. To other, one group is 153. Successfully, certainly you are going to practice. The other group of the cases, you will find the patient has got no such symptom appear. In the another group of the patients, you will not find according to 153 symptoms. So the other is no such symptom appearing. Then there is only one to hunt for the remedy that is in its pathogenesis, containing, we call the tout ensemble. Is a Latin word. Tout ensemble is a Latin word, means altogether. So the one class of the cases, you will get very clear cut according to 153. The other group, there should be no clear cut indications. And as said, if you have got no clear cut indication, the other groups, tout ensemble. The pathogenesis of the case, you should consider tout ensemble of the case. The majority of the cases, however, standing out like a beacon lights. You know that in early era, now the very much improved. Early era, the sailors, those who sailing the yacht or the ship, they are going to guided by a light, which is called beacon light. In the sea, there is a good amount of beacon lights that is sparking. So mariners is going to be direct on the basis of this beacon light and move their ship to their destinations. This symptom, as a homeopathic physician, also found in a case of the sea of the case taking. You as a mariner, the ship captain should be moved on the basis of beacon light. That is characteristic symptom. Easy to consider homeopathic prescribing. But there are certain areas where no beacon lights at all, no searching light at all, no sparking light at all, no development of the any 153 symptoms. Then what to do? You do one. Consider the case as a whole and try to consider most of the symptoms. That is the scope of the repertory. Repertory should be utilized only for those cases, those who have got no beacon light. So, for study of the whole case from the pathogenesis point of view, and in my humble opinion, the most important repertory is the therapeutic pocketbook of body nations. Most important one. Now I will give you the importance of repertory in very short. There are two groups of the peoples in homeopathic physician. One from trained 5 or 5.5 years with the medical training of homeopathic colleges. The another group who convert from the allopathic system to the homeopathic system. So this 5.5 years of very constant washing of the brain is not going to be done with the allopathic physician. And they are going to come to the help of, not with the materia medica, but the help of the repertory. They consider symptom, put in the repertory, result and prescribe medicine. So Kant, in a long years ago, very clearly declared that in actual practice, what do you mean by actual practice? Practice you will find in your practical field. Means you have in your case perceiving, you have in your clinic, you have in the bedside. So in bedside, actual practice bedside, not theorizing. We have to consider patients in the bedside, taking whole case taking, and came to a conclusion. The symptom like a beacon light according to Organon 153. You consider, I will give you some of the example, I will give you more example also of the beacon light. For a homeopathic physician, we are trained since first year in our Calcutta Homeopathic Medical College. The teachers trained us, watch the brain, to look after only beacon lights. So that's why for a longer period in Calcutta School of Thought, they did not use any repertory. Only they are fully based on the materia medica, the beauty of the materia medica. My teacher, you know that, Dr. Gyan Mujumdar, a grandson of Dr. Pratap Mujumdar, the pioneer of homeopathy in India. That once I asked him about the totality, he will explain like that. And he said the scope of repertory is beautifully only with its limitations for the physician, those who come back from allopathic side. Dr. Mujumdar was FRCS. In his town, he was typically an allopathic physician. But the involvement of the family, his father, his grandfather, and the other features also, other person also, he became sensitive to homeopathy. Once he told me that when I say to my father, I like to study homeopathy, his father gave him a Alensky note. His father means Jitan Mujumdar, one of the renowned practitioners of homeopathy. When Dr. Mujumdar sit in his home and open the book, like the first opening of the page is Lycopodium. You have got any Alensky note? You have Alensky note there? You see, open the chapter of the Lycopodium.
Or do it aggregation. Bold.
Open? Okay. After the first few lines, there is a pain. Chapter is pain. And he said, that aggravation to 8 p.m. Aggravation 4 to 8 p.m. Just see, Dr. Mujumdar was very shocked. How a disease, how a pain is going to sensitive to only reappear in the 4 to 8? It is not possible. His materialistic mind of allopathy does not allow him. And he confused. He cannot agree. The diseases are so sensitive that in case of lycopodium is going to be only increased from 4 to 8. Before 8 is okay, and before 4 is okay, after 8 is okay. Only the 4 to 8 is a troublesome to him. It is not possible. His knowledge of practice of medicine, his knowledge of surgery, pathology and practice of medicine confused him. And he became very much confused and said it is very difficult to him to consider homeopathy for prescribing. And he left. But he is sitting in the chamber for practicing. One day he found there is one case of old age who came. After the case taking, Dr. Mujumdar found the patient has a constantly pain in the forehead between 4 to 8 p.m. only. Otherwise he is happy and cheerful. That shocked him. He bring the book, Allen's Keynote, starting reading. And there is a bold letter, black bold of Allen's Keynote. His father taught him there are many odd things in the Allen's Keynote, which may be shocking to you as an allopathic physician and surgeon, but it is true because it is found in the drug proving. And that was the day which made him Dr. Gyan Mujumdar is going to be convert from allopathic physician, surgeon to a homeopathic physician. And he is starting to study Allen's Keynote. And what is his positive point as an allopathic physician and surgeon? That is the knowledge of pathology and practice of medicine. There is no pathology, no practice of medicine, no name of the disease, or no diagnosis of the case is going to be considered aggravates from 4 to 8 p.m. No. But it is found in the bedside. And that's why homeopathic physician is going to be reputed. Homeopathic physician is going to be considered for treatment. As I give you one example of the ignitia, I will give you one more example because you people are from the Britain. Heard the name of Sir John Ware, once upon the physician of the royal family. I am very much admirer to him. I am always searching his writing and watching seriously. He told that I have treated 5 kings and 3 queens by a medicine ignitia amara. Just see that ignitia amara is having so much powerful medicine that is away from the disease is going to affect the patient as a person. So in this case, ignitia or any other medicine which has got involuntary sigh and whispering speaking, that is individualistic symptom, that is characteristic symptom of the patient, not the disease. We as a homeopathic physician always searching, not name of the disease, not diagnosis of the disease, is the individual symptom. People mostly enjoy cigarette, smoke. Ignitia individuality is can't tolerate. He vomits, having headache with the smoke. That is the peculiarity. Under the influence of uncommon case. Common to enjoy cigarette. Uncommon is having an aversion to cigarette due to the painful conditions. So in this situation, we are searching as an artistic physician. Where is the art? Where is the practicability? Where is the individuality? We're searching constant individuality. Now you just note it. In your free time, you just make yourself about to know about the individuality, to learn about the individuality. Our most important job in the case taking, not the cases of the 5 pages cases, 10 pages cases, 12 pages of the cases, no need. We need the cases considered with the totality of the symptom. We consider the case importance is the 153. If your case is going to be developed with 153, your case taking is perfect. So in this case, I will give you now this purely going to be considered outside the homeopathy. The person, those who did not know about homeopathy, for my knowledge is concerned, the man from your country, the David Bohm, he born in 1917 and died in 27 October in 1920. In this gentleman who wrote the beauty of homeopathy, I don't know, he was the anytime a listener about homeopathy or not. In this case, he said, individuality is only possible if it's unfold from the wholeness. And what is unfolding? And where you are going to be unfolding? The whole case taking is an art of unfolding the wholeness. When you are going to unfold the case, means to making inside to the outside of the beacon light, bringing from a under precious individualistic symptom, you unfold. As I'll give you the example of the ignitia, as I'll give the important rustox in the mitral, we unfold to our art of the case taking. And individuality is going to be grown up, and we prescribe rustox. So David Bohm, like physicist, I just simply say about the man like David Bohm is so much helpful to share the homeopathy for different school of thoughts. They are not going to accept the homeopathy. But when you say about the David Bohm, who said individuality is the only possible if unfold the wholeness, they will accept you. Unfolding is an art. That art is a case-taking art or case-perceiving art. In this case-perceiving art, you will get the clear-cut picture of individualization. Only the art is to unfold it. You make it to fold, that is sickness. You make it to the unfold in the freedom. And the freedom of the choice of the remedy. As per Nash, the chapter of the Nagdomika, the last page and last paragraph. You have to read it repeatedly. It will help you a lot. Give you the full command and confidence of the prescribing. My another important factor, there are lots of things that I am going to discuss. Maybe it is not so much relevant to now present day. You also in concept of order and connectedness. There is a one thing you will find here, a causal, last line, a causal, non-local connections. You know, just a husband is going to be abused strongly. A husband is going to be abused very mildly. This mildest form is going to hurt the woman. There is a no relations, but patient is going to be affected. Woman is going to be affected. That is non-local. Nowadays, I will give you the non-local connection. This is a central concept of the particle physics. Very distinct relations between the causal and the non-causal, local and the non-local. It is also a part of the physics. I am saying about this. You know that, see the organon, aphorism 11, aphorism 11,
Vital force, dynamic inclusion.
6th edition.
Dynamic.
6th edition. दिखा दी जा सकेगा?
Dynamic power. देख लेंगे उधर.
हाँ?
देख लेंगे अपने ऑर्गेनन में. Long foot appear तो.
So here,
dynamic influence, dynamic power.
if you find
Footnote.
that patient has got, Hahnemann's declared it is non-local, not connectedness.
Material Peckins.
Hahnemann say about the dynamic influences. That dynamic influences is not going to see by naked eye. Is going to be observed dynamically. Dynamic means movement, but you are not going to recognize from your naked eye. Hahnemann say about a few examples. Among them is tides, waves and tide. What is going to be happened in the moon is going to be affected in the river or sea, tide.
Sea to fluid, rise of the northern sea to fluid tide.
Good example. My humble request to all of you, my friend, whenever you have got some free time, you please study this few aphorisms which I like to share nowadays. It's very helpful to you, making yourself an staunch homeopath as well as become a good preacher of homeopathic physics. To preach homeopathy, we need all these factors. Now, another factor for totality I consider, that is the man, the Carl Jung. A good student, best physician, and very individualistic. A man for the psychology. I got some very good suggestion from the Carl Jung's writings. Among them, one important factor is that is we call synchronicity. Means a causal orderness. a causal, not ready to be a relation directly, and can be defined meaningful coincidence. See this meaningful coincidence. The meaningful coincidence of the ignitia amara in that case, the meaningful coincidence with the heart problem and the rustics. A meaningful coincidence we call synchronicity between a mental and event occurring in the external world is going to be happen. But nobody is going to search this line between one cause to the another cause. But it's going to be happen. After around 100 years of discussion of Feynman about the totality, about the dynamic action, all these things, these gentlemen like Carl Jung explain the concept of synchronicity. Totality is one of the facial expression of the Carl Jung synchronicity. This is also found, as David Bohm say, about interconnectedness, interdependentness, interrelatedness. But there is no such direct. It should be some dynamic level. It is going to be appreciated by David Bohm as well as the Carl Jung. Now, just see, this is one of the example of interconnectedness, interrelatedness. One more thing I can say about this interconnectedness, that people has got whatever the real relations of the upper, but they are connected each other internally. Otherwise, life of a tree is not going to be developed. Synchronicity I have discussed. Simply cannot be related to each others in a causal ways, but appear in different. You see the frozen footnote of the 6th edition. That is the dynamic influences. There's some few things which I like to share as a basic principle of art of prescribing. There are lots of things more, but in my initial discussion with you, I'll give you some of the more important factors. Your basic background to become very strong, to believe totality, to believe homeopathic prescribing without consideration of any confusion. You're going to be one of the staunch homeopathic prescribers. And full confidence, after prescribing, you not change the medicine. You wait and watch. That is, I can say that simply you can consider, after prescribing according to the philosophy and organon, the art of the healing, you never change. Sit on the remedy. Now, one thing I like to discuss about half. Now, I can say about homeopathy, few of the experience of my life. That is, first is what we have about the knowledge of sulfur, a ragged philosopher, an ugly man. But remember, my friend, the sulfur is in acute cases is very clean, not dirty, in acute cases. But in chronic constitutional condition, patient is ugly looking. That should be always in your mind. And sometime I saw some people came to me for consultation. They are not able to prescribe sulfur as because the patient is very neat and clean. Especially in a case of the acute diseases. You should be very much careful about consideration of the sulfur. This is one which you know that if you go through the Materia Medica Pura and some of the deep study of people, Materia Medica, fountainhead of the Materia Medica, Pulsatija is also thirsty. But that's not, it is a clinical experience of the people. Those who consider Pulsatija is thirstlessness only because of their clinical experience. But sometimes Pulsatija is thirsty also. Some of the final experience in my later life, which I'd like to share with you. Next, where I target during my case taking. About for prescribing medicine, where my target. I have already disclosed that I mostly search symptom away from the disease, away from the pathology, and near to the individual. Non-diagnostic symptoms are very important for homeopathic prescribing. Non-diagnostic. पीछे का बत्ती बुझा दिया करो. The more diagnostic, more away from the prescribing. Least diagnostic, more important for individualization. So always during the case taking, our target should be searching those symptoms, those who are not diagnostic one, rather non-diagnostic one. In the case taking, for prescribing, I will suggest you the most important is desire or craving. Desire or cravings are not written in the pathology, in the practice of medicine, in the gynecology, in the obstetrics, never. I will give you one example of basing our symptom in non-diagnostic one, that is desire. A people, those who have any symptom, any diagnosis, if he has got tremendous desire for sweets, that is important for prescribing. Or remember one of my teacher who had, whenever used to take tea, anyone asked, how much sugar I'll give you? Teaspoonful. He laughed and told, don't count in the teaspoonful. You put sugar equal to the tea. And sometimes he used to take tea with a spoon. is taking tea or taking sugar, I don't know. This is one of the very unique, strong symptom we call more striking 153. Far upon you. Every man is going to be shocked. Either he is taking tea or taking sugar. I am not saying sweets. There are good amount of difference between the desire for sweets and the sugar. For argentum nitricum prescribing, you never forget sugar. His desire for sweet is less than the sugar. Always consider sugar, raw sugar. Similarly, raw salt is a natural meal. Natural meal always consider a raw salt, extra salt we call it. Similarly, the extra sugar is one of the very strong indication. Individualistic is strong in favor of argentum nitricum. So sometime I will give you another example how you are going to be considered as a physician. So this is a very important for consideration of the craving, including in your totality of the symptom. How you include? There is one fact is stimulation in the mind and the body. Stimulation. This is stimulation of the patient in the nervous system. When you ask a suggestive question during the case taking to your patient, did you like to desire or craving sweet, salt, bitter, sour? We ask mostly. But during this procedure, we watch the facial expression of the patient. Suppose if you ask about sweet, salt, sugar,
sour,
bitter, and salt, whenever you would say the salt, the lips is going to be dribble the saliva. Sweet, salt, a dribbling of saliva from the unconscious level for the deep desire of salt or sugar is one of the positive indication to include you in totality of the symptom. So consideration of the desire, aversion, all these things should be watched the body language of the patient. I am considering this very often in my totality of the symptom. But I consider only when the people is going to be excited with the nervous system and the patient is constantly saying about, oh, sugar, like that, oh, sour. This internal secretion of the saliva or dribbling saliva is one of the strongest stimulation in the higher level. The demand, considering the demand of the prescribing of sweet, salt, bitter, sour. Similarly, in the case of the aversion. Aversion means intolerance. So sometimes we give example of sweet, salt, bitter. A very repulse of a repulsive feeling. Oh, salt. Oh, sweet. This is strong stimulation inside. This is strong indication, strong stimulation should be found to consider to include your totality of the symptom. Most of the graphitis cases, typical graphitis personality, fish sweet are one of the strongest aversion for the typical graphitis personality. A graphitis personality, whenever you are going to discuss or ask about the sweet on fish, etc., there is going to be like that. Do you prefer fish? Do you prefer sweet? This should be an attitude of a typical personality of the graphitis. And if you will find, they should be included in your totality of the symptom. My friend, it is better to ask some of the questions from your side. I have already discussed it, and there are some confusion with you. Please give me the question here, so I will reply you. And if you have got no question, then we proceed further. And Mr. Dominic, नहीं है?
Yes, I can hear you.
One thing I say just that it is a very late night discussion, and I humble request to all of you that make it some more earlier. Though the late night for you is not late night, for me is very late night. Okay, fine. That if you have got any question now in your hand for me, just send me in the board. I will answer you. Do you have any question?
So, if I just summarize that, I think that it's very late where Dr. Khan is speaking from. He seems to be suggesting that we put questions to him by email, and you can do that via myself. You can always address an email to me, and I'll direct it to Dr. Khan straight away and include you in it, and so that you will receive the response directly. But if you've got any particular questions you'd like to put to him straight away,
yes, you send me this box. You send me of this box. Why I am saying question? Because two factors. One, that maybe my pronunciation is like that, so you did not get full clear-cut picture what I would like to discuss. One thing. Number two, maybe sometime my ideology is slightly maybe different to you. So maybe you have some confusion. That's why I'm asking the question to just give me the inbox. I will try my level best to explain you.
Many of you can't be seen at the moment. I don't know if you're here or if you're elsewhere, but it would be great if we could see your faces and just some indications that you're understanding and able to communicate. Oh, thank you very much. There's some people appearing.
Okay.
That's encouraging.
Okay, I'm very happy to with you. That is my very pronunciation of Indian pronunciation for you people. You are accepting. I am very glad to you that you are accepting me. That's why my question is that if you have got any question, I will try to explain you. Otherwise, if you my explanation is very clear to you and you understand fully, it is a very happy features for me. Any question, Mr. Rajgopal?
I made one or two notes because I felt that there were one or two areas which may not have been clear, and one of them in particular was your recommendation of the best organ on top.
Right. You remember one thing. You remember one thing, that the poor demand of aversion and desire should not be included. Is poor means out of totality. Is stronger means include in your totality. Everything is stronger, as I am saying, more striking according to the organ, and it's very strong, should be strongly included in totality. This is a simple formula from my side. If it is sticks or they stick together to the patients, the symptom should be stick in the totality of the symptom. A patient has got aversion, just I'll give the example of the graphitis. You should include. Your not inclusion means your poor totality, your defective totality. Your totality is going to be hazy. You know that, I will give you one example more. If your very earliest prime minister, those who have got very fatty personality, with a big cigar, can anyone say me who is?
You're thinking of Churchill.
A very big personality, very fatty personality with a big cigar. Which one your prime minister, earlier prime minister?
Winston Churchill.
क्या बोलिए?
Winston Churchill, isn't it? Like
Right.
Dominic said.
Right. How many symptoms is going to recognize for the Churchill? All this cigar and very big personality. 2 is enough. If you are not going to include these two factors to consider the personality of Winston Churchill, you are not going to say it is a Winston Churchill. I am clear? If you go through see the Indian Prime Minister, older Indian Prime Minister, very sharp feature, sherwani, one red rose with chuidar pajama. Anyone can say? Jawaharlal Nehru.
Nehru.
Very simple. No, it all made sense. I can't understand. Is Anna Jack? No, it all made sense.
No, Anne was mentioning that everything made sense. Yeah. I think Dominic had a question. Dominic, do you want to continue that?
Sir, right. My question is simple that if a man is going to be recognized by few symptoms, why you are going to including the 206 bones of the body? No need of 206 bones. Only one cigar, big fatty personality. Churchill. Similarly, in homeopathic prescribing, the most strongest symptom, most annoying symptom should be considered for the totality. And this is my way of practicing. I am during my case taking, I am always watching my patient. An odd, uncommon, striking feature is going to be noted. Sometime in a very whispering, sometime is like that, but it should be from the patient. If it is marking the patient, it should be marking the totality of the symptom. This is a very simple formula. Considering symptom for totality means it should be marked in the patient. और दूसरा कोई है क्या? And that's why I am saying that the question answer session sometime making something very clear. Any other question?
Dr. Dominic कुछ पूछ रहा था.
क्या?
Dominic, do you want to continue your question?
There were just observations, really, rather than questions. I mean, we must have so many questions, but I wanted to reiterate the particular organon you were talking about was Wanda Brewster O'Reilly. She has a translation of the organon, and Dr. Khan was very specific about that this is a translation from which you will derive the most useful understanding of there it is, and Grain has got it in front of
Right,
it.
right, right.
Yes, this is
Right.
the organon which will help us to
You know, sometimes orally make it very clear cut and very simple translation of organon. That's why I prefer Brinda in many cases to understand the honeyman's understanding. One more thing I like to say to you. Whenever you are going to study organon, there is a one part in the organon we call content. Dikhao. I will show you. How I study, कैसे दिखलाएंगे?
ऐसे दिखाइए ना।
This is the contents of the organ. Not clear? Just say in your organ. Whenever you are going to study, खोल के रखोगे aphorism 3. Whenever you are going to study organ aphorism, I make you very simple one. First read the content. Aphorism 3 खोलो. Content. You see, organ content 3. Or maybe you see the contents of aphorism 5. Have aphorism 5? Hahnemann say here, attention to exciting and fundamental cause and other circumstances as helps to cure. This is the nutshell of the 5. Now read 5. So between the content and aphorism, if you are going to discuss to understand organ and aphorism is going to be very easy for you. Very easy for you. I will give you one more example. That aphorism 6 or saying about any aphorism you can see. So first you read aphorism, then come back to the content. Then content to the aphorism to the content. Few word times if you do like that, you can easily understand the concept of Hahnemann. More than that, you come back to the Brinda. So Brinda, content and aphorism, all three together, if you are going to understand organon will make you very simple one. Very simple one. You know that most of the people is not going to organon only because of that. We have got a type of myth that organon is very tough. Organon is impractical. Organon is this, organon is bogus, etc., etc. But I assure you, my friend, if you go through the study like that, organon is your fingerprints. Right. Mr. Rajgopal, I can say this very troublesome. First, I like to explain what is the skin. Skin is our third kidney. The two kidney is going to excrete all the bogus matter, poisonous matter from inside to the outside through the urine. Agree? Similarly, the whole body is going to be expelled their poisonous effect on the skin. So according to homeopathic philosophy, understanding of human being should be treat skin not with the skin symptom. Never consider prescribing skin for the skin symptom. Away from the disease. That should be a good clue and give with LM potency, not in the centesimal, maybe increase, aggravates. So if you give in LM potency away from the disease, suppose it is a case of the graphitis. You have got simple symptom of graphitis. Discharges, very sticky, this and that. You prescribe graphitis. Don't give. Avoid the discharges. Avoid the symptom of the skin. Avoid the itching. Avoid the dryness, etc., etc. Such the individualization. And mostly I found this obstinate one skin disease is from the family tradition. It will take too much time to cure because they are transmitted from the genes. They are genetically transmitted diseases. It takes some time. One. Number two, if you are going to consider eczema or any disease, you first watch the mental symptom. First watch the mental symptom or emotional upset in the life. In many of my cases where I got wonderful result, I considering not skin, I consider the skin of the patient. Who is the patient? Those who have got this skin symptom. And what is their mind? Because one philosophy I say that whenever the disease on physiopathological level, surface level, such the symptom for prescribing on mental level. Or whenever you have got some mental diseases like schizophrenia, this and that, don't choose the symptom of mental symptom. Choose the physical symptom.
Wow.
Similarly, in this case of yours, I mostly, not mostly, when I found that natrum is somehow very helpful in case of the skin diseases because they are emotionally upset with long years ago. And that nature is going to expel their feeling of emotion through the skin, that is third kidney. And we treat skin? No. We treat skin including the personality of this natrum. So our failure mostly due to the, especially in cases of a child, you must ask, during 9 months of the pregnancy, mother has got any skin eruption or not. Every children should be considered the 9 months of intrauterine history. I include this 9, suppose a man has got 12 years old. This is not 12 years. This is 12 years, 9 months. He is grown up inside the mother womb in the 9 months. So everything is going to be happen in the 9 months of intrauterine life. It should be found after the birth of the case of the patient. So mother case or father case of in this condition, you should consider some of the symptoms of the mother during the time of intrauterine life. That will help you to consider the totality of the symptom.
One of the challenges I faced was with babies, and there was no mental picture that we can make out. It's just a physical symptom, like a small discharge, a bit of itching, and the mom never had any skin problems when she was pregnant.
That's why I'm saying you just ask the mother.
She never had any skin problems.
During the 9 months of the pregnancy, mother has got skin or not. Most of the mothers said, no. But no. You ask seriously. Give some example. Then they will give you the history. Or maybe the family history. Number 2. When the patient, especially in children, having this skin symptom, I will give one of my skin case. I said to my son, he will show you a severe worst case of the baby treated allopathically, homeopathically. But it is going to be more worse. What I have done? Go through the whole case. In whole case I found the patient is going to be toxicated by the steroid severely. And the steroid is one of the main factor to considering the maintaining of the disease of the skin. Then I simply prescribe Ad-Cortex, a medicine prepared from the adrenal cortex. LM1 I am giving. After near about 1.5 years, now baby is wonderfully cured. So skin cases, you must watch, don't make hurry. You told to the family members, it will take time, you must cooperate with me. And mostly you avoid in that case maintaining factor, milk, and any other toxic thing which is taken during the time of the pregnancy by mothers. Any toxic should be considered for prescribing. Most of the mother at that time, they used to give coffee, too much coffee, too much extra salt, too much anything. I don't know about those, your country. Cigarette, using food prepared in the aluminum utensil. This should be considered for countering the patient with your totality of the symptom. But the next question. अच्छा इस केस के ऊपर ईमेल पे को भेज दोगे. Yes, I will send you, doctor, the case of this, especially in children, and I'll go to psoriasis cases. It's very difficult to deal. So I think your question and my with pleasure answer make you satisfied with you. So if today is very late at night here, I hope I'll meet you next time, and I like to make you very strong homeopathic physician, clear cut, mentally very clear cut physician, not confused homeopathic physician. A very distinct and crystal understanding of homeopathy, especially from prescribing point of view. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Dominic sir and Rajgopal. I have got a pleasure to meet all of you. Very sweet people you are. Very sweet. I am sorry for that maybe sometime my pronunciation is not going to very clear-cut idea about homeopathy, for which I make apology and try to give your questions. I will take it answer.
Thank you.
Okay, sir?
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Many thanks indeed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Give your comments. Give your comments, your understanding of my explanation of homeopathy. Okay, bye-bye.
Will you wait just a moment, sir, please, if you don't mind? I want to speak with you. I want to speak with you just a moment, if I may.
Thanks, Dominic.
But thank you, and thank you very much, Mahesh, Alan, Caroline. Thank you very much for coming. I hope
See ya.
Thank you. Thank you,
It was very good. Really good. Thank you.
I am also very thankful to Dr. Anil Habbu, who introduced me to you.
I invited him to come and join us this evening, but he was unable, unfortunately. But he was looking, he's looking forward to hearing from me how the evening went, and I can tell him that it was a great success. I think everybody understood what you were saying.
That's good.
I think as we mariners, we're navigating the oceans. And you provided those beacons of light, and certainly a treasure chest for me anyway appeared on on the horizon. So thank you for coming, and if we may call upon you to speak to us again in the future,
Thank
we'd be
you.
very, very glad to have you.
Thank you, sir.
And please, Doctor, forward me that PayPal account name, because I want to.
You talk to my son. He will answer you. I am not interested with this. I'm making myself. I'm making myself very clear to you. That is my
Yes.
satisfaction.
Thank you.
Yes.
Shall I leave, Dominic? Shall I leave now, Dominic?
That's fine. Thank you, Mahesh, and I'll see you soon.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
बंद कर पैसा का